Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is an absolute privilege to be here with you all today on the traditional, unceded, and ancestral territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations. My name is Megan Dykeman, and I am honored to be your MC for today's celebration. As your MLA for Langley East and as former board chair of the Langley Board of Education, I'm especially excited to be here today. I had the privilege of being part of the Board of Education when the school was announced. When the school was being built, I was able to watch with excitement along with the rest of the board, and now I have the honor of being here today at an opening. So this is truly a very special day for myself, and I know every single member of our Langley Board of Education. So without further ado, let me introduce our speakers today. The Honorable Jennifer Whiteside, Minister of Education, is joining us today. Thank you for being here, Minister. Donna Gabriel Robbins, a retired educator and member of the Kwantlen First Nations, who this new school is named after. Rod Ross, my successor as chair of the Langley Board of Education. And Amy Malley, a parent of a soon-to-be student of Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize some very important guests who we have joining us today. Once again, Donna Gabriel Robbins, retired education member of our community, Kwantlen First Nation and honoree of the new school. Brad Robbins, husband of Donna Gabriel Robbins. Mr. Gord Stewart, superintendent of the Langley School District. My colleague and friend, Andrew Mercy, MLA for Langley. Phyllis Giovanni, principal, Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary. Tanya Kerr, president of the Langley Teachers Association. Human Ansarari, president of QP 1851. Jennifer Johnson, president of QP 1260, and Langley School Board trustees, as I mentioned, Chair Rod Ross, Vice Chair David Todd, Trustee Suzanne Perot, and I'm sure many other of the trustees will be joining us today. I don't see them, but these are hardworking people who make decisions every day with keeping children at the center of it, and I'd like to thank the Langley Board of Education for everything that they do. This new school is a part of a larger government announcement, and it is unique for so many reasons. This school really embodies our government and the Langley Board of Education's commitment to truth and reconciliation. This school is proudly named for a member of the Kwantlen First Nation, Donna Gabriel, who is instrumental in helping our district move towards truth and reconciliation and bringing in all of the important learnings from our nations. Thank you for being here with us today, lending their voices to this important day and being the first to recognize our honoree and the school in our name, and offering their support and wisdom to this place where generations will learn, thrive, and grow. Please join me in welcoming Chief Marilyn Gabriel, Kevin Kelly, Michael Kelly Gabriel, Tricia Gabriel, and Dennis Leon, who will provide us with a traditional welcome.
OCM, Siamel Siayes, Siamel Swalakwa, Etos Gwalawa, Equus Quetzalama, Equosamia Lepta Kwantlen Saltamuch. Good morning, everybody. My traditional name is Zaitsamtin. It's been passed down from my grandfather. My English name is Dennis Leon. I come from the Kwantlen First Nation, and I just like to welcome everybody to traditional Kwantlen territory, and also Semiahmoo, Katzie, and Matsqui. Haichka.
Oh
Thank you so much. I also just wanted to quickly say that I was remiss in introducing Trustee Charlie Fox. I apologize for missing you on that earlier one. Thank you for joining us today. So now please welcome to the podium the Honorable Jennifer Whiteside, Minister of Education.
Thank you so much to my friend and colleague, MLA Megan Dykeman, and thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful, beautiful day in what is a very, very busy and exciting time as we prepare for the start of a new school year. Before I begin, please join me in acknowledging that we are gathered on the territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations to celebrate new beginnings and to honor a distinguished member of the Kwantlen Nation. It is my pleasure to be here in Langley today, and it is a privilege to be here in person as BC's Minister of Education. And thank you so much to all of our education partners who are joining us here today, as well as, of course, Donna and her family. It's a real privilege and pleasure to meet all of you and to spend this time with you today. Thank you. This has been a long and challenging year and a half as we have worked so hard to keep schools safe and open. And together, across our education system and our communities, we dug deep to make sure that students continued to receive a world-class education and so that they could stay connected to their friends, their supports, and school community despite the COVID pandemic. And I want to really send out a special and deep felt thanks to everyone, parents, teachers, education assistants, administrators, the custodians, trustees, education partners and rights holders, everyone who has worked tirelessly to bring us to this point. And as students and staff return to school, we will bring the lessons learned from last year, and we will keep the social and emotional well-being of children as our principal focus. We all have a collective responsibility to make sure that every student has the best educational experience possible, no matter where they live. And I will echo what our Premier John Horgan says, that public education is the great equalizer in our society. It is a fundamental societal value to provide educational environments which nurture and support children's intellectual, social, and emotional well-being. And there is no question that it starts with a strong, positive, and inclusive school community supported by great teachers and support staff and wonderful education leaders. At the heart of every community is a school that everyone loves, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. Next week, 16 new and improved schools will open across our province right in time for the new school year. And one of those new schools is this one, the beautiful Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary School. In total, over 8,600 students throughout the province will have a space to call their own in those 16 new and improved schools. In Surrey, the new Grandview Heights Secondary opens next week, and students will also return to an expanded Sullivan Elementary and a seismically safe George Greenaway Elementary. In Chilliwack, we're opening a brand new Imagine High Integrated Arts and Technology School at the former University of the Fraser Valley North Campus. And after a tragic fire that cost a small community their school, the new Hornby Island Community School is ready to welcome students. And just across the water, the near full replacement of the Lake Trail Community School is ready to open in Courtenay. In Smithers, the replacement of Walnut Park Elementary is now complete, and in Saanich, the new Children's Development Centre welcomes students next week. In Lake Country, we're adding new capacity for students with a 600-seat HS Granada Middle School. We are also opening major expansions at West Seashelt Elementary on the Sunshine Coast and BX Elementary in Vernon, giving hundreds of students the chance to move from portables to classrooms. And finally, seismic upgrades are now complete at Manoa Steeves and Mitchell Elementary Schools in Richmond and Lord Byng Secondary and General Wolfe Elementary in Vancouver, providing thousands of students a seismically safe place to learn for generations to come. Each of these projects is the result of an historic $2.5 billion investment our government has made in school construction and land purchases in the last 4 years. And we are building on this momentum with a $3.5 billion school capital budget to continue supporting families, students, and staff with the best learning experience we can provide. From day one, our government has been focused on building and expanding the kinds of schools our communities deserve, schools that inspire, that engage, and support students' passion to learn. For the past 4 years, we've built strong, effective, and collaborative partnerships with school boards throughout our province, with a shared goal of improving education for our children. And together, we're building new schools, expanding and upgrading schools, removing portables, and making forward-thinking investments that ensure families can send their children to modern, inspiring, and safe schools right in their neighborhoods. And today it is, I can't tell, such a great pleasure to celebrate the opening of this school, the Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary School. And I'm so honored to have Donna and her family with us today. As many of you in Langley will know, Donna has made a lasting impact on countless students in this community and is so obviously deserving of this honor. And our government, I think as you know, is deeply committed to reconciliation. And part of that involves reflecting Indigenous knowledge and representation in our curriculum and in our schools. And of course, we return to school this year with memories of so many children who never returned home from the residential schools they were forced to attend. And many members of our community continue to live with the intergenerational trauma resulting from that. And we know that there is much more work to do, and that this is work we must do collaboratively with First Nations and our education partners. We are compelled to confront this shameful past and to meet the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action to do better, to be better. And education can and must play a role in that endeavor. And so it is inspiring to know that this school is named after a member of the Kwantlen First Nation who has made such an incredible impact in the district and to her students, and to know that Donna's legacy will continue for generations. If you can just picture this, what this is going to look like on Tuesday morning, this entrance, it is going to be so exciting for students and staff to walk through these doors, to know that they have a modern school where they can create their own community this fall and nurture that community for many years to come. And to further benefit families in Langley, this school also includes nearly 100 new childcare spaces as part of our Childcare BC plan. So the opening of this school, one of 16 newer improved schools to open after Labor Day, is the result of our government's day one commitment to build schools that benefit families, communities, students, where and when they're needed. I am immensely proud of this work and proud of all who contribute to the education of our children and to building our communities. I wish all students and staff and families a terrific start to the new school year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister. And thank you again for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you in Langley. It has truly been amazing watching this government deliver on the commitment to providing better learning environments to students throughout BC, and I'm so proud to see the results of that right here in Langley. So now for the honoree of this beautiful new school, I would like to welcome to the podium Donna Gabriel Robbins to share a few words with us.
I want to say thank you. And thank you in our language is haichka. You see us put our hands up. But I'm going to say thank you to many, which is haitsepka, because today was many, many people that made this day for me, for my family, and for the students that will be attending here. And I want to let you know that Phyllis Giovanni, who is the administrator of the school, has the biggest heart. She has prepared her students to come here. And I was very honored to be a part of the little kindergartner day. They drove in, and I couldn't believe how many vehicles were coming in. And there was this one particular little girl that made her parents go and park and come back because she wanted a picture with me. And I tell you, that just, you know who I, if those people know who I am. I love children. I wouldn't be in this, be a teacher for 35 years. But I tell you, it just did my heart really good. I was so proud that day, and just all the amazing people that made this come together. From Joe Abshire, Jolene, I know you're here somewhere. Thank you for putting this day together for us. I know that there's going to be a big, huge celebration. That's what my family keeps saying. So Mike Pugh, you got this? Okay. Honestly, I'm so honored. My husband and I came here the other night. We saw my name up on the, I'm gonna cry, up on the school. And we had a young man that was a security guard. And my husband was telling him, no, this is Donna Gabriel Robbins. This is the school that's named after her. And the young man kept saying, really? Really? And then after Brad convinced him that it was really me, he looked at me and he said, we're all so proud of you. That again touched my heart because he doesn't even know me. My hands are raised up to my family because they've been with me from the time I stepped into the Langley School District. They've been beside me. My husband, he's been my rock. My mom that can't be here, she was my inspiration. She's a residential school survivor. Did you think that it made her weak? No. She's a very strong lady. As you can see, I have Marilyn here, Chief Marilyn Gabriel. Marilyn's been beside me all the way. And if there was hard things to do, I had to ask Marilyn to come. So when I heard you, Honorable Jennifer, when I heard you say there's hard work to do because of what has happened to our little ones that never came home, and to the little ones are our aunties, Auntie Hazel and Auntie Winifred, that Marilyn and I never got to meet. We never got to love them, hug them, none of that. So when you think about how strong our residential school survivors are, they came into the Langley School District to help educate. And they're from Kwantlen, Catesy, Matsqui. That's when we started this program. So this big, huge word, Yayastil, means working together. And that's how I feel here in Langley. Many of them I've worked with so long. My hands are raised up to each and every one of you because I know that you have hard work ahead of you, and it's going to be hard work. I'm honored to see my name up there, my family's name and my husband's name. I'm honored. And so I would like to ask my sister to come and say a few words on my relations. Love you. Oh. This is your honor.
Family. Michael and Michael. Brad, Uncle Brad. Siam. Dear respected ones, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day for our people. Beautiful day for our families. We needed this. And I'm glad it's my sister that you're honoring. Her and her husband just retired together. And I'm glad they're up here. They've devoted their life to our children, our most precious resource. And my Auntie Helen, she's here. She calls them her medicine. And I hope that each and every one of these teachers and all the ones that work for our people and all our children, not just our Kwantlen children, not just our children, all of them, remember, you're the aunties, you're the uncles, you're the grandpas, and you're the grandmas, because this is now considered a lawn house, Phyllis. This is your home. You have to look after each and every one of them. And not only their children, they're all their families. That is what our people do. To look after one child, you have to look after the whole family. And I know you guys all know that, working in the school districts, in the fields you do. And while you're here, plugging at it each and every day, you have that beautiful hearts, each and every one of you. It is a huge responsibility. I say, we don't have the lawn houses like we had before. And why I say you're the aunties, the uncles, the grandparents, is because now you're the ones watching all the children. For each and one of their gifts they have, or they have many. And you're bringing that out. And you're getting them ready for the world. You're getting ready for them. You're getting ready for them on their journey in their canoe, whatever that is. and my son is here, he'd say, they're gathering their keys they need, their knowledge they need to move forward in their lives, to make a difference. And I'm going to say the world. That's what we're touching now. With media and social media, you're touching the world. And everyone does that. Every school does that. Every child does that. Every teacher, every superintendent, every vice principal. You have huge roles because we can't be there every day. You have them more than we do. And I expect high expectations from you and each and every one of those children. They deserve the love. They deserve the kindness. They deserve the respect. And they matter. And all it is being kind to one another, showing each other love and kindness every day. That'll get them in the door. That will get them in the door. And your beautiful kindness, because the teaching's the hardest part. I know. I watch my sister and my brother leave so early in the morning. I could hear them leaving, and I know they're prepping for the day because they wanted each and every child to have the same gifts, to give them the same love, kindness, love, and respect and attention. But most of all, that each child mattered. My t-shirt I have on underneath is my orange shirt t-shirt. Every child matters. But it's not just one day. It's for all our children. It's every day. Everybody deserves the love and kindness. It's family here. And if you don't know that now when you're coming in here, Phyllis is going to make it that way. Because Donna's watching her. And Uncle Brad's already booking time in the basketball court. And then you know what? Beautiful things happen. It doesn't happen out of coincidence. We walked across. Which way do we come from? This side? The roofers are wondering what we're doing. They want to be part of this day. They want to be acknowledged that they matter. What they do, they're roofers. And they got their work done for us today. For your sister's day, please tell them that. Please tell your sister that we got it done on time today for her gathering. That's how much people need to matter. And you beautiful people here. Everyone needs to know that. And everyone can do it. And I know that's what Donna wants for her children. Because that's what we came up in. We lived in that. Even out of all that turmoil, all what's around us in the world, we came from love. We come from, and they spent time with us and they showed us we mattered. And now that my sister Donna has to turn around and do that to my mom. She's turning around giving back to our mother. She carried us for 81 years. Now we owe it to her to carry the rest of the way. And I hope that when you guys are working, that's what you think of all the time. Don't make this about a burden. Make it from love. These two represent love and education. Right there. That exhumes it right here. And the teachings are right here. And we all want to learn. Everybody's hungry to learn. They're hungry to learn. They want to know what their purpose is. All of them want to know what their purpose is. They probably didn't think they'd be doing this, coming out of school. Doing what you're doing, doing what you're doing. Everybody matters. And if that's the sign that we say, and you walk in here every day, Phyllis, and all your workers, all your staff, family, everybody matters. Each and every day. I don't care, orange day, purple day, pink day, green day. All of them matter every day. Put that in your hearts, please. Everyone's just trying to cope right now through COVID. They're missing their friends. You're missing your colleagues. You're missing your school family. And we're here today bringing medicine. When we're singing, it's not a performance, not a song, it's prayer. We're asking our ancestors to come join us, all our ancestors, yours included. Mama's here. All your ancestors are here from all walks of life. You're representing all walks of life. They're here today, witnessing today. Where elders say they're already on the other side, celebrating the same as us. Big celebration today. And my sister deserves that. She's devoted her whole life to education. She's not finished yet. At Elders' Table in Kwantlen, it's Freedom 95. And then I've adopted Mike and Mike. So that's in there too. They leave here, they have to come and they got to help our family, support our family. Freedom 95. I thank you. I know my dad, Donna. I know my late father, our late father, Grand Chief Joe Gabriel is just, he was such an emotional man. He's crying up there. He's got a whole bunch of people crying with him, but out of love and kindness. And then he has a big laugh for Donna. And then a big pat on the back. Big pat on the back and then a big hug. Because this is her day. This is her path. This is what she planted since she walked in the Langley School District. That was hard work. Holy crap, we had to fight. We had to fight. It wasn't pretty sometimes. And I just said, okay, we're not getting Christmas presents this year, Christmas cards from the school district. No, but it's okay. But we learned to love and work with one another. Yeah, still. Lots of mutt. Lots of mutt. One mind, one heart, one spirit. That is us. And we'll continue to still. Because we're role models of BC. Working together in friendship. Through hard times, through good times. We're there. We're family. Remember that. Hold that in your heart. Because I know this is Donna's baby. And that's what she did every day when she went into the school. So I love you, everyone. Thank you. Aichka. Asya.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those powerful words. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Chief Marilyn Gabriel. And the Langley School District, the larger communities of the Langleys. We are so fortunate. We're so strong, and we are better as a community because of the partnership, as we heard in Yayastal, with the nations which our schools and our community reside on. And thank you. It really is an honor to have you here with us today. And I'm so excited that your name will live on for generations in this community. So now to tell us what new schools like this will mean to students, families, and staff, please welcome Chair of the Langley Board of Education, the wonderful Trustee Rod Ross.
I learned so much about love from my family and friends behind me. and so it's a real honor to be here today. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood, and it's a wonderful day for Langley School District. The Langley Board of Education is thrilled to open the school to students living in this fast-growing community and welcome new families in the years to come. All you need to do is look around and see the increasing demands for schools in our district. On behalf of the board, I want to thank the Minister and the Ministry of Education for their work in helping us to meet the needs of our students and families. We couldn't do it without you. We don't want to do it without you. We're so grateful to have the support to fulfill our mission to inspire all learners to reach their full potential and create a lasting legacy for the future. I want to thank Donna Gabriel Robbins for her hard work and dedication over the years and for allowing us to name this beautiful school after her. She's a remarkable educator who has made a difference in so many lives. Donna has advocated for Indigenous students, staff, and families. She continues to be a strong leader and role model for all, supporting us on our journey of truth and reconciliation. We are so proud to have her with us on this special day. I also want to thank everyone in the community for your support. As a growing district, we have come to understand that change is inevitable. Change comes with challenges, but it also comes with opportunities. This new school is stunning, but it is not all about aesthetics. This school is equipped with new technology and flexible spaces to facilitate learning opportunities for all students. We look forward to next week when we open doors to our students, staff, and families, and hope they will be comfortable in their new home, our new home at Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary School. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Trustee Ross, and thank you to all of the trustees at the Langley Board of Education for your hard work and your commitment and dedication to students. I know each and every day you work hard to ensure that our students and our communities are successful. So, as we know, when we build schools, we do so to give children the best chance to succeed. So with that, I'm pleased to introduce you to Amy Malley to tell us what a school like this will mean to her family as her children start school next year here.
Good morning, everyone. The start of the school year is typically an exciting time for students. They get to meet their new teacher, make new friends, and reconnect with old classmates. But I expect this year students are even more energized to be able to start the year in a brand new school. This is a beautiful building complete with kid-friendly furniture and state-of-the-art technology. But it is not just the brick and mortar that matters. As parents and caregivers, we look forward to working alongside the teachers and staff in these positive spaces. We want our children to be safe in a learning environment with trusted educators helping students succeed. We hope our children to go to school every day and feel like they belong. We know our children will feel at home at Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary. We are excited to see the learning opportunities at the new school. We know our families will benefit from childcare and before and after school spaces. We look forward to seeing the social, emotional supports and programs available for families through the Neighborhood Learning Center. We have learned in the past year and a half the importance of schools to the community and how they provide much more than education. Schools are a space for care and connection. We know we will see that here at Donna Gabriel Robbins Elementary School. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Amy. That brings us to the end of today's event. Thank you all for joining us, and for those watching online, we would have loved to have you here in person to see how truly wonderful this facility is. Now, Minister Whiteside and other speakers will be happy to take any questions from the media. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank thank you for everybody joining on the phone line. Please press star 1 to enter the queue. You're limited to one question and one follow-up. For anybody attending in person, there is a stand-up mic, and Jolene will be happy to assist you with questions. We will start with questions on the phone today. First question is from Simran Singh, Burnaby Beacon.
Hi, Minister Whiteside. Thank you so much for taking my question. I wanted to know if you could speak to what Dr. Bonnie Henry confirmed earlier this week during her COVID modeling update. She said that single exposure notifications would no longer be done in schools. I just wanted to know, do you feel that single cases still pose risk to the school community? And can you give some more information, if you have it, about why this decision was made?
Thank you. I want to assure parents and families that, of course, if their child experiences an exposure in school, they will be notified. And I think what we heard Dr. Henry say earlier this week is that health authorities have the contact tracing capacity in place to ensure that that process will continue. So we can be very confident that should there be an exposure in school, the family will be notified, those close contacts will be notified, and the health authorities will be engaged in the contact tracing. What I understand public health is looking to do is to shift to a communicable disease management approach, which doesn't involve mass notifications going out. And we know, for example, in the Surrey School District, what happened after we saw school-based staff vaccinated toward the end of the school year, exposure notifications dropped right off. So, Dr. Henry has indicated that public health is not anticipating the need for the kind of notification process we had in place last year. And perhaps just to note that we, of course, this year are going into the school year with provisions for local health authorities to monitor and manage the community transmission on the ground, and to implement further measures if needed.
Do you have a follow-up, Simran?
Yes, I do. So, Minister Whiteside, on your August 24th update about, new school measures, you mentioned that 44 of 60 school districts in the province have upgraded their HVAC systems. I wanted to know if you could provide some more details about what these upgrades look like, and what is a timeline to ensure that ventilation checks or upgrades are done. When will we see this done? Is it later in the school year? Will it be done sooner in the school year? I wanted to know if you had some information around that.
For sure. Ventilation has been a very important focus of the work that school districts have been doing since before the pandemic, but certainly over the course of last year, many school districts upgraded their HVAC systems where they could to accommodate different kinds of filters. Other districts were looking at particular kinds of different kinds of mitigation measures to ensure that the air is clean, is ventilated inside schools. And our government has invested $77.5 million over the last 2 years through our routine capital budget to school districts to ensure that districts have the resources that they need in order to do the maintenance and the upgrades. And I know that 100% of school districts are looking at every single one of the in excess of 1,500 schools we have across the province to ensure that HVAC systems are working, that they've been maintained, and that is an ongoing process. I can say I have had a chance over the last week or so to talk to a number of different school districts who all employ, the vast majority of school districts employ professional facilities managers. They have teams of staff who are engaged in this work every day. They are consulting with engineers about what is best for the particular building that they're dealing with. We've also been in a process with through our provincial steering committee, with our through the health and safety work that we're doing with that committee, directly with teachers and with superintendents, to review that work with districts to review those very small number of schools and classrooms where they may not be connected to mechanical HVAC. And so, for example, in Abbotsford, where they've identified about 120 classrooms, as I understand it, that aren't connected to mechanical HVAC. That school district invested the money in purchasing hospital-grade filtration, portable filtration for those individual classrooms. So there are a number of different mitigation approaches that school districts are using. They are working on this every single day. In this school district, for example, we know that that the district has looked at every school, including portables. They've upgraded their HVAC systems. They've added over 70 sinks in portables, installed 90 non-touch faucets, set up over 800 sanitizing stations, added additional custodians. And that has come in part through the $6.8 million annual facility grant from government, and including $3 million to upgrade specifically for a specific upgrade, HVAC upgrade system at Noel Booth Elementary. So with over 1,500 schools, this is a terrific amount of work and resources that are going in to address these questions. It's a questions that I'm confident districts are taking very seriously and doing the work that needs to be done.
Next question is from Marcella Bernardo, News 1130. Hi, Minister, and thank you for taking the time to answer questions about not necessarily schools reopening, but what's being done to improve safety for COVID. Do you have any stats on the percentage of teachers and support staff that are either partially or fully vaccinated? And if that's not being tracked, can it be tracked?
Well, I'll answer, as best I can. I think that I know that we certainly have reports from our partner groups in education and from BCTF and others who indicate that their internal surveys indicate very high uptake with vaccinations amongst their members. We don't have a mechanism for tracking sort of by occupation vaccination rates, but I can tell you that when the opportunity for vaccination was made available as part of a proactive measure to address the third wave in Surrey last spring, we saw a terrific uptake by school-based staff in excess of, I'll quote what I understood the health authority number was, in excess of 85%. And of course, we saw exposure notifications plummet after that effort. So we know that vaccination is the most important tool we have right now to keep our communities, to keep our schools, to keep kids safe. And I will say, if you have not yet had an opportunity to get your vaccination, please, now's your chance. Today is your day. Go and get vaccinated. That is the best way to ensure when kids come back to school next week that they're protected.
Marcella, do you have a follow-up? I do, and it's regarding the mandate for masks being only for children that are in grades 4 to 12. Has there been any discussion at all about letting school administrators, individual school administrators, decide whether masks should be mandated K to 3, depending on how big the risk is in any one school district?
You know, since the beginning of the pandemic, our government made a decision, a wise decision, I think, to trust the expertise and advice of our public health officials who are experts, who study the evidence, study the science, and make decisions based on that evidence and that science. And that is what has informed, that's what's at the foundation of our safety plans. Our health and safety plans in education come from the BC CDC. And I think, as you know, during the last school year, the CDC recommended mask wearing for grades 4 to 12 for students and for all staff from K to 12. Those are the same. That is the same requirement that is in place this school year, and for K to K to 3, children are encouraged to wear masks, but it is at the discretion of their caregiver. But having said that, I mean, I know that families and I know that schools and teachers have gone to a lot of work to create positive mask-wearing cultures in their classrooms, in their schools. That work should continue. And as I said, the local health authorities, the school medical health officers are working very closely with school districts and tracking what's happening on a regional basis. And if additional measures are necessary, that will come through public health. As is being done in the Interior Health Authority right now, where we are seeing an additional layer of restrictions in place for schools in that health authority.
Thank you. We have one more question on the ground from Matthew Claxton, Langley Times. Go ahead, Matthew.
Hi, I was wondering if the cohorts were so successful in helping reduce transmission last year, can you speak to why they're being abandoned for this year?
When public health reviewed all of the different layers of and levels of safety measures that were in place as part of our safety plan last year, public health determined that the cohorts weren't going to be necessary going forward because they served a purpose perhaps at the outset, but we're not in the same place now as we were in last year. We have vaccinations. We know that cohorts, for example, in middle and high school were very disruptive to timetabling, and we know how important it is and how much students and families are looking forward to being back in school full time. And so that's the decision that public health made. That was the advice, that we would be back to regular timetabling, full time in school learning for kids, and I think that's very good news. That is not to say, though, that schools will not be using every tool in their toolbox to do things like make efforts to reduce congestion, to stagger start and stop times, to limit the numbers of people at in-school gatherings. I mean, I think all of those measures are going to continue to be in place, and school leadership and district leadership will work with everyone to ensure that as we return to school, we are doing so in a way that respects everyone's personal space, that respects everyone's feeling about how quickly they can move back into sort of normal operation. And I think the level of planning has just been remarkable throughout the course of this year, and everything that I have seen leading up to this year. I'm deeply impressed and grateful for the incredible leadership in our education system.
Matthew, do you have a follow-up?
Was there any consideration given to keeping cohorts for those children who can't be vaccinated? You said that's the big difference, but of course, no one under 12 has been vaccinated.
Well, where we had under 12, so for elementary schools, the way in which cohorts operated was we still had everybody, kids in school full time last year, and we had grouped classes together. So as I say, in the event that public health determines that there are additional measures needed, they will be supporting districts and schools in making those decisions and those arrangements. And I think we have seen the incredible resiliency and nimbleness of school leadership to be able to pivot if it's necessary to implement different kinds of measures based on public health advice.
Those are all the questions we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.